Hello, space explorers, and welcome back to G Fun Facts Online, your portal to the most amazing discoveries in the universe. Today, we're blasting off into the incredible world of human biology, but with a twist. We're looking at what happens to our bodies during long-duration spaceflight. Imagine floating in zero gravity, gazing at distant stars. Sounds dreamy, right? But for the human body, it's an extreme adventure that triggers a cascade of changes right down to our cells and molecules. This is where a super cool field, called space omics, comes in. Think of it as the ultimate biological detective work, using high-tech tools to understand every tiny tweak our bodies make when we leave Earth. So, why is this so important? Well, with ambitious missions to the Moon and Mars on the horizon, we need to know how to keep our astronauts healthy and strong. Space omics is key to figuring that out. First up, let's talk about the big picture. Space travel isn't just about one part of your body reacting. It's a full-on, multi-system symphony of changes. We're talking shifts at the cellular, molecular, and physiological levels. To keep track of all this, scientists have created something amazing called the Space Omics and Medical Atlas, or SOMA. Imagine a massive database, like a cosmic library, filled with integrated data and samples from astronauts on various missions, including those from SpaceX and NASA. SOMA collects everything: genomics, epigenomics, transcriptomics, proteomics, metabolomics, and even data about our gut microbiome. Samples are taken before, during, and after flights, giving us an unprecedented look at how space changes us, both in the short and long term. Now, let's zoom in. One of the biggest discoveries from all this multi-omics data, including info from NASA's Gene Lab, points to our mitochondria, the tiny powerhouses in our cells, as a central hub of trouble. It seems spaceflight causes significant mitochondrial stress and dysfunction. This means changes in how our cells produce energy, a dip in our natural antioxidant defenses, and even signs of oxidative stress. Protecting our mitochondria could be a game changer for astronaut health. Our immune system also takes a hit. Spaceflight can dysregulate our immune function, leading to shifts in immune cells, changes in inflammatory markers called cytokines, and even chronic inflammation. The famous NASA twins study, where one twin went to space while the other stayed on Earth, gave us incredible insights here. Understanding these changes is crucial for preventing astronauts from getting sick on long journeys. And what about muscles and bones? We've all heard about muscle atrophy and bone density loss in microgravity. Omics studies are now revealing the molecular story behind this. Scientists have looked at astronaut muscle biopsies before and after spaceflights of different durations and found distinct protein expression patterns. This suggests our bodies adapt differently depending on how long we're up there. The good news? In-flight exercise seems to really help at a molecular level. But there's also space radiation to consider, which can mess with bone health by boosting the cells that break down bone and reducing the cells that build it. Speaking of radiation, the space environment isn't exactly gentle on our DNA. Increased radiation exposure, combined with microgravity, can lead to DNA damage. What's more, microgravity itself might make it harder for our bodies to repair that damage. Scientists are working hard at places like NASA's Johnson Space Center Radiation Biophysics Laboratory to understand these risks by studying DNA damage and other molecular changes in ISS crew members. Our hearts and eyes aren't spared either. Long-duration spaceflight poses risks to cardiovascular health and can cause something called spaceflight-associated neuroocular syndrome, or SANS, which can impair vision. Omics tools are helping us uncover the molecular reasons, like changes in our blood vessels. For instance, by looking at metabolites in urine, researchers in the NASA twins study identified markers that might indicate changes in muscles, tendons, or bones. Even our genes aren't completely off the hook, or rather, how our genes are expressed. Emerging research shows spaceflight can cause epigenetic changes. These are alterations like DNA methylation or modifications to RNA that don't change your actual DNA sequence, but can switch genes on or off, contributing to the adaptations astronauts experience. So how are scientists uncovering all this? Thanks to incredible advancements in technologies like next-generation sequencing, mass spectrometry, single-cell analysis, and spatial omics. These tools allow for super-sensitive and precise molecular deep dives, even with the limited biological samples we can get from astronauts. And initiatives like NASA Gene Lab are creating amazing resources, basically data fabrics that connect different datasets with biomedical knowledge, allowing for even deeper insights. Plus, researchers are developing less invasive ways to get samples, like from skeletal muscle and skin, which is fantastic news for astronauts. Now, you might be thinking, this is all fascinating for astronauts, but what about me here on Earth? Well, the incredible thing about space omics is its translational potential for medicine right here. The insights we gain can help develop tailored treatments for diseases like cancer, heart conditions, and age-related illnesses. In a way, spaceflight speeds up certain aspects of aging, making it a unique model to study aging mechanisms and potentially develop anti-aging interventions. And understanding immune system changes in space could lead to new therapies for autoimmune diseases and inflammatory disorders on Earth. Of course, this field isn't without its challenges. The biggest hurdle is often the small number of astronauts, which can make it tricky to get statistically powerful results. But through continued international collaboration, building robust biobanks like the International Astronaut Biobank associated with SOMA, and developing sophisticated data analysis techniques, we're making huge strides. Looking ahead, the future of space omics is bright. The focus will be on refining personalized countermeasures for astronauts, developing real-time health monitoring systems, and further unraveling the complex dance of molecular changes that occur during spaceflight. The goal is to ensure our explorers are safe and healthy as they venture further into the cosmos, to the Moon, Mars, and beyond. It's a truly mind-boggling field, isn't it? The human body is an incredible machine, and space omics is helping us write its operator's manual for the final frontier. Thanks for joining me on G Fun Facts Online today as we journeyed through the cellular cosmos. Until next time, keep looking up and keep wondering.